Team Quadrilla Marble League B Division is back for the third event, block pushing. We are here for the second time after unfortunately the home fans saw Team Atlantic get last in this event in the A Division. But you'd be remiss if you thought that they wouldn't come out here to see the B Division teams have a go at their pushes to see how they compare to the A Division. Of course, in this B Division, in Season 3, we still have 6 events counting this one to get out of that dreaded bottom 4 relegation zone, which the Sinister Sprinters and the Floundering Fish are doing a very well job at, with 35 points each at the top of the standings. Rock Pools in 30, Bacon Brothers 29, just off the podium in 4th. Now, Sinister Sprinters and Deserters in the first heat. Remember, in block pushing, every team gets 2 runs, 1 in either lane. It's the sum of the 2 runs, 2 distances, that gets you the overall total. And Deserters do get the edge over the Sinister Sprinters by quite some margin. Deserters, they're playing with a reverse lineup with their current lineup, so Tar in the front. That's working out for them. Sinister Sprinters, just 11. That is paltry from the Sinister Sprinters. But Deserters, you can clearly see they're not a great team at block. They're not a great team at block pushing either. They put in the work, made that change, took the risk. It seems to be working out for them. Now, Floundering Fish, Angelfish, also at the front. That is not usual lineup for them either. Mountain Climbers, winners of this event last season in the B Division, so they don't need to change too much. The Mountain Climbers, they do get 2 marbles past the block. That's their captain Mountain and their former reserve, now promoted to main member Volcano. Mountain Climbers, I think they're slightly ahead. Yes, 12.3. Despite those 2 marbles coming loose, that's wasted energy, not getting directed to pushing the block forward. You can clearly see they have the strength. Could have been more for the Mountain Climbers. Now, Rock Pools and the Nickel Knights. Rock Pools got a win in this event in the qualifiers, but of course they didn't qualify from the other events, and they have not had too great of a history in block pushing. Speaking of not great histories in block pushing, Nickel Knights, that very well suits them. It's very close between these 2 teams. Rock Pools, I think they have a slight edge. Nickel Knights, you can see their block is like 45 degrees turned. Because it's measured from the back, that's not very good. And half a centimeter separates the Rock Pools and the Nickel Knights. The Rock Pools in the far side gets the edge. Now, Bacon Brawlers and the Blue Lotus. Both of these teams have been in the A Division before. Blue Lotus twice. And Blue Lotus, we can clearly see they are better than the Bacon Brawlers in this heat. Oh, Bacon Brawlers, look at that push. Just turning the block upon contact. Getting a couple of marbles loose, that is not what you want to do. Look at all 4 of the Blue Lotus behind the block. That is exactly what you want to do, and they're rewarded with 13.5 and first place so far. After half of the runs in round 1, Blue Lotus are on top. Now, Olive Orbs and the Amber Animals. Amber Animals got a silver in this event last season in the B Division. Olive Orbs, not so much. They were in the A Division, not great at block pushing. And they do get beaten by the Amber Animals. We're seeing a lot of teams in the near side. Maybe there is a hint of a lane bias. There wasn't really for the A Division. Maybe it developed upon the gap between the 2 events. It doesn't matter too much because each team gets 2 runs, 1 in either lane. Amber Animals do get the edge. And Amber Animals, actually, that's first place, beating the Blue Lotus by over a centimeter. That is very good from them. Now, Heliospheres and the Golden Cheeses. Golden Cheeses, 2 A Division block pushing results of near misses of the podium. We should be expecting good things from them, and they do clearly beat the Heliospheres. How much is that is down to potential lane bias? How much of that is down to their strength? We'll have to see. Well, Heliospheres definitely didn't have as good form though, with marbles getting loose. It didn't happen for the Golden Cheeses, and they go up to 2nd place, just behind the Amber Animals, with a 14.1. Now, the Treat Fleet and Team Nectar. These 2 teams. Captains haven't been captains for too long. Treat Fleet from this season, Team Nectar from the end of the last. Of course, captains very important in team events to lead the team, and for both, it's not good runs whatsoever. Treat Fleet just completely turned the block upon impact. It's like a worse version of the Bacon Brawlers. Team Nectar didn't really do that. They just didn't have strength and got 2 of their marbles past the block. Treat Fleet, it was 3. And Treat Fleet 9.5. That might be the worst one we've ever seen, or at least close to it. Team Nectar, well, they're only better than the Treat Fleet, with a 10 centimeter, 10.7 I think that was. Now, Pumpkin Patch and the Venomous Vipers. Pumpkin Patch on the far, Venomous Vipers, 4th place in the last season, very strong out. Look at the separation for the Venomous Vipers coming into the block. And I don't know if that's as far as they would have liked, ahead of the Pumpkin Patch. Of course, Venomous Vipers, much stronger than the Pumpkin Patch. Pumpkin Patch, I think this is going to be a decent run, at least for the far side. Oh, I don't know, it's only a 10.9. That's actually 14th. You know, the Venomous Vipers tied with 3rd. So, I mean, I'll restrict my judgment for that one. Venomous Vipers, 13.5, tied with the Blue Lotus. Not quite the 14 centimeter mark, but still pretty good. Now, Deserters and Sinister Sprinters, as we reverse the teams, start off the second round of block pushing. Deserters on the far side, they had a good push in the near, but they also get a fairly good push in the far. I don't know if that beats the Sinister Sprinters though. Deserters, they've turned the block, meanwhile Sinister Sprinters keep it as straight as possible. And so Sinister Sprinters on the near side gonna get it passed by half a centimeter. But that gap is not that much between those two compared to what it was for the Deserters ahead of the Sinister Sprinters in round 1. Now, Mountain Climbers and the Floundering Fish. Gap between these two was only 0.3. So, Floundering Fish, if they can claw that back, I think they will certainly claw it back with the Mountain Climbers. Once again, they make the same mistake. They have their first marble, and this time their third. That's Mountain and Everest that just get past the block. Meanwhile, the Floundering Fish, great push from them. They've turned the block, but they still have much better than the Mountain Climbers. Actually, Mountain Climbers 10.3. That was pretty bad. Now, it made the Floundering Fish look good, but it wasn't actually that good. Now, Nickel Knights and the Rock Pools. Nickel Knights, the Rock Pools, Nickel Knights, one of the few teams in the near side to not beat the Rock Pools in the far. And the Rock Pools absolutely steamrolled the Nickel Knights in the far side. Nickel Knights, they had a respectable score in the first round, but in the far side they just cannot get a good push whatsoever. So the Rock Pools, 14.9. They go into first place. That's for this round, the second round only. But still, the Rock Pools, they had a pretty good score in round 1. They might be on for a medal here. Now, Blue Lotus and the Bacon Brawlers. Nickel Knights had also sub 10 centimeter distance. That is absolutely not what you want. Blue Lotus, they were in the medal positions in round 1. But they get beaten by the Bacon Brawlers here. In fact, that was a very good push from the Bacon Brawlers in the bottom. Just consistently pushing it forward. No real energy lost from them. Meanwhile, Blue Lotus, they are down in the 11 range. Bacon Brawlers, they go into the lead for round 2 with a 15.3. I think they're the first team to crack 15 centimeters. Easily the best score, individual score of the day. Amber Animals, they got the highest score in round 1. How can they respond on the far side? Have been some of the weaknesses of some of these teams. It's not going to be amazing because they're about on par with the Olive Orbs here. The Olive Orbs, they turn the block with 3 marbles with Olive Orbs getting loose. Amber Animals, I can't tell if they're beating the Olive Orbs. Are they? Oh, they are by 0.2 of a centimeter. They beat the Olive Orbs, but it's only good enough for 6th in round 2. We'll have to see if that can carry them. That first round can carry them to still a medal. Now, Golden Cheeses and the Heliospheres. Golden Cheeses had a good push. They were second in round 1. But do they beat the Heliospheres once again? It's very close between these two. Heliospheres have maybe the preferred lane, but do they get the better push? I don't know. It's once again very close by 1/10 of a centimeter. The Heliospheres do beat the Golden Cheeses, but it's only good enough for 6th and 7th respectively. Now, Team Nectar and Treat Fleet as we go to the final two runs. These teams were desperate for a good run after this disastrous first round runs. Will they be able to? Oh, I think it's much better than the previous runs. I don't know how it'll stack up, and they need to make up for that deficit because it's the sum of those two runs. Even if these runs are average, the previous ones are going to drag them down. Treat Fleet do get the edge over Team Nectar, so they do improve by a bigger margin, but only to 8th in this round, and Team Nectar tied for 10th with 11.7. Now, Venomous Vipers and the Pumpkin Patch in the final heat. This does mean, by the way, I think one of the teams is guaranteed a medal. We actually don't know which one it is, but Pumpkin Patch do push it further than the Venomous Vipers by quite some margin. Venomous Vipers, they pushed it by quite some margin ahead of the Pumpkin Patch in round 1. So very close between these two. Fairly even, I have to say. Pumpkin Patch, they're out almost to 14. Venomous Vipers, just 11, and just 14th for them in this round. Meanwhile, Pumpkin Patch in 3rd. But the Bacon Brawlers get the win in round 2 with 15.3. That is a great distance. Rock Pools in 2nd, Pumpkin Patch in 3rd. What happens when you add them up? Rock Pools get their 2nd gold of the B division with 28. In second place team, Amber Animals, 26.7. Just behind them is the Bacon Brawlers and Golden Cheeses in A division or the B division, near miss in block pushing in the podium. But the Rock Pools, their 2nd gold in 3 events. Bacon Brawlers also there, their 2nd medal in 3 events. And the Amber Animals, a 2nd straight silver in block pushing across 2 B division seasons. Very well done to all of these 3 teams. Rock Pools, unsurprisingly, take the championship lead in the B division ahead of the Bacon Brawlers, who also rise up to 2nd. Floundering Fish and Sinister Sprinters drop to 3rd and 4th. Oliver staying in 5th. Amber Animals rising 6 spots to 6th. That's the Golden Cheese 2nd straight 4th in 7th, and the Heliospheres in 8th. In the relegation zone, Treat Fleet, Team Nectar, Mountain Climbers, and the Nickel Knights. We have some familiar faces there. But stay tuned for the next event, relay race of the A division, and then swimming for both divisions.